Hello, my name's Beth. I'm a poet and I'm founder of the Poetry Machine. What I do is I go to festivals, events, parties, hospitals, schools, universities, anywhere where there are people of all ages, and I have my beautiful wheel along theatrical poetry machine, which is inspired by Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and it's got a bright yellow umbrella and a bubble engine for the kids to play with, and a flagpole, and of course my trusty typewriter. And what I do is I sit with people, I ask them questions, and I listen to what they have to say, and they share memories or moments with me that matter to them. And after they finish speaking, I write a poem for them about what they've said on my typewriter, live in the moment in just a few minutes. And I give them the poem and I read it aloud. And often people treasure it. They use it to reflect on something that feels important to them. Or maybe they give it to someone as a gift to express how they feel about a person. And I love my job so much. I love poetry because it's a form of creativity that anyone can do. And I promise that may not seem true, but it is true. We all use words every day, so we can all do poetry, because all poetry is somebody writing about something or speaking about something which matters a lot to them. And if you listen to someone talking about a topic that they care about deeply, you'll hear them start to perhaps talk more rhythmically, perhaps use metaphors or images that help them to clarify what they're saying, and they often change the pace at which they're speaking as they get really emotional about something or feel nostalgic about something. So listen out for that everyday poetry, and I think you'll be surprised. But enough about me and what I think. This is about you and how you can get started with writing a poem yourself. So the first thing to do is to go about your day-to-day life, and the next time something happens that perhaps catches you unawares or gives you a little emotional glow of some kind, could be a bit sad, could be a bit happy, could be anything in between, and just notice it and ask yourself, why has that come to mind? Why has that created an emotion within me? Why does that matter to me? Because that's the first question that all poets must ask themselves before they write a poem. And once you know what it is, roughly, that you're writing about, get a pen, get a blank piece of paper, and just write about that thing for as long as you can without stopping. Just allow the ideas to rush off your pen and onto the page. It might seem a bit hard at first, but once you get warmed up, you'll be surprised at how easily the ideas come. It doesn't matter if it feels a bit like you're talking nonsense, because there will be some gems in there, I promise. Now, once you've finished writing, read over what you've written and underline any bits that you think, yeah, that does mean something to me. That is what I think. That does sound true to me. And be kind to yourself, because it's too easy to be critical and self-doubting. Once you've underlined some bits, rewrite out all of those underlined bits in an order that makes sense to you. It could be any order. You could start at the beginning of a moment, you could start in the middle, or you could start at the end. You could look back on a memory, you could look forward, or you could describe something exactly as it was happening to you. And once you've rewritten all those underlined bits out, read it aloud to yourself. Does it sound how you would speak? Does it make sense to you? Because that's all that really matters. If you read it aloud and you think, yes, that is exactly what I'm trying to say, then you've written a poem. Now, here's a golden rule. A poem does not need to rhyme. In fact, it's better to have no rhyme in a poem at all than to be guided or led by a rhyme. So just bear that in the back of your mind. Of course, if a rhyme happens, or if a rhyme helps you to come up with an idea you wouldn't have done otherwise, then that can be brilliant and beautiful. But just make sure it is something that you would normally say and not just something that you put there because it rhymes. So, once you've written your first poem, you'll need to title it, and this is a fun part. If you've ever named a child or perhaps a pet, then you'll know how fun this can be. And what you need to do is think about the personality or character of your poem. So what is the core or heart of your poem? Perhaps it's an emotion, perhaps it's a place, or perhaps it's just a word that comes up a lot in the poem, or comes up once but has a lot of meaning. Or perhaps it's something that doesn't obviously link to the poem at all, but once you think more closely about it, it fits like a glove. Now, when your poem has a name, well done. You've written your first piece of poetry, and it may not feel like much. You may think, oh, it's all rubbish. But try not to say that to yourself, because I can promise you, you have as much a right to create a poem, and you have as rich an experience and as much to write about just in the things that happen to you in your home, in whatever space or environment you're in, as any other person who's ever written a poem. And that's the beauty of poetry. It can be about anything that's important to us. So, good luck. I know you're going to love it because poetry is beautiful and a joy, and I hope to someday read one of your poems as well. I'm just going to finish by reading a poem that I've written, and it's about a moment that at first didn't seem that significant to me, but actually had a profound effect on my life and who I am today. And it's about somebody that I met at my grandma's WI meeting when I was a small girl, and it's called Spellbound. Amidst the silver clouds and spectacles, I met you. Lady with the loveliest smile I'd ever seen. History rippled your cheekbone map from lip to ear, cauldrons so clear, I knew straight up you were magic. Silence slurped at your cup, a tiny trick that gave you substance. Spellbound, I edged closer. Back then, I was invisible. Too shy to smile without looking for the pieces of push luck in my soul's reflection. Too shy to risk cracking my face in case it caved. To me, your laughter lines were loud, sudden. They drew me in. The purr of your perfume, the sheathed claw of your beauty hinted at a life not read to girls at bedtime. Your smile was the shock of near bad luck turned good. A black cat walking the right way. A magpie joined in the end by the flutter of a friend. That's when you looked straight at me, like a glass of cold water. I spilled my thoughts in awe, appalled at my own daring. I told you, I really like your smile. And to my surprise, you gave it to me.